Hello, I have two pieces today. The first one here is a Draw This in Your Own Style, and this one is a Witch by Mias. This one was super cute, and I had to draw it. I love the colors, so this was definitely a no-brainer for me. I am again drawing her in my anime style. I made the eyes a little bit smaller than some of my previous works. I really love the giant hat that the original artist drew, so I love drawing giant witch hats. I thought the little tassel. I love the little tassel that the artist drew. And it has this little water thing. I don't really know, I guess little amulet or something. I just thought it was super cute and fun to draw. The only thing I really changed about her, yes, I changed her pose a little bit, but I also changed her nose ring. When I was drawing it, it didn't turn out the way that I really wanted it to or made it look in my style, so I kind of changed it to a little stud instead of a loop ring. I'm not a huge fan of the loop rings in my drawings, I guess because they make the nose look really weird, so I just didn't draw it. And so this one, I also drew the tattoos in. I don't know what it is. Some artists, they love to draw tattoos on their characters, and I'm just not a huge fan of drawing them. I love tattoos, but in my drawings, I just don't know. I want to make them look good, but then I want to make them look like tattoos and not fake looking. So that's something I'm working on. Sometimes the artists like to draw super intricate drawings, or I don't know if they use stamps. I was considering using a stamp when I was drawing her, but I just want it to be more coming from me, I guess. I wanted it to be more my drawing and my art than just putting a random stamp that is someone else's piece. I mean, I might do that in the future, but I just like doing my own. Maybe I'll create my own tattoo stamps. I don't know. So this was kind of just a real quick put together drawing on her arm. I had fun shading her in, so this is kind of what I've started doing, is I've started to shade her first, and then I'll put it on a multiply, and then I'll draw over it. And it seems to make the shading process a little bit faster. Sometimes I have to go back and blend it in a little bit better, but I was doing them in a separate layer, and it just was taking a lot longer than I really wanted the pieces to. I'm trying to find faster ways to draw pieces and have them look good, and so this was kind of a way that just doing the shading first and then going back, and I do still do a little bit of color shading, but mostly the shading just makes it super easy. I mean, it's made it so much easier, night and day, faster to just shade ahead of time. So this is kind of my new method for getting a piece done. I want to get to a point where I can draw pieces a lot faster. That way I can draw them. Also, I want to be able to draw pieces with you guys, and I want to be able to do it a lot faster than I'm doing them. So I'm kind of learning ways and tips where they still look good, but I'm not taking as long drawing them. And some of that is also learning curve and learning what I want to do, how I want to draw it, what is it I want to look with my style, because I have a style in mind. The style that I'm going for is kind of cartoonish. I like the very heavy lines. I know a lot of artists don't really like that as much, but that's the style that I want to go with. I want to go with kind of the anime cartoony style. So, and I really like heavy lines, and then I like, the small lines in between. So that's just kind of what I'm going with as far as the kind of look that I want. So at first when I was doing the colors, I didn't really like the color palette at first because I felt like the yellow background kind of clashed with her tan skin. And so I was really wanting to kind of make it look a little bit more yellow in the image. I just felt like the blues kind of clashed. I don't know, something about the palette, because in the picture that she drew, it looked great. But when I started drawing it, something about it I didn't really like. And so what you're gonna see next is I use a bit of color dodge with some orange, and I think the orange really makes her pop and kind of molds it back into the background, because I wanted the piece to all come together, not just it just looks kind of clashy. I don't know. But what you're about to see is I will adjust some of the color from the original palette. So it's going to look slightly different than the original piece that Mias Mias did. I also want you guys to notice that I have been using the same border for like the last couple of drawings. I am thinking about either changing it up, but I do like the border that I created. It just gives me simple lines to work with, to have the picture show me the foreground, middle ground, and background. Also, you'll notice I added a little bit of texture to her clothes. So here's the color dodge portion that you're about to see. Oh, I love it. I think it turned out really, really well. But anyways, I added a little bit of texture to her clothing, and I think that really also added to the picture itself. So here's the second one. This one was a prompt. It was poison potion prompt with Fairy Week. So this one I felt like was really rushed, and I feel like I could have done a little bit better in this picture, but because of the time constraint, I did it pretty much all in one day, and I just really tried to rush it all. There was a few things that I really wasn't happy with, but I'm glad I still did it, and I'm glad I still completed it and posted it. It could have been a little bit better. I had this envision of the snake, because I know snakes are venom, they're not poison, but I wanted to do kind of a snake coming out at the audience, but it didn't turn out that way, which was okay. I was actually using a reference for the lady's hands and where they were, and I don't know. I feel like there are a little bit of mistakes in this picture, but that's okay. I'm just glad that I finished it and completed it. I really love how I did the potion in this one right next to her arm here. This one, I really like how that turned out. I feel like the colors came out really well in it. You'll see here in a minute that I do like these really bright greens, and I just poison, whatever it is. I think it just turned out really well. And I really loved how I did her wings, and I think I'm going to implement how I did that in the future with some maybe other fairies that I'm going to do in the future. I also like how I connected her hair and ended like the image at the tip of her hair. I like how I did that. I also want to say this too, like I feel like a lot of artists feel that they have to be perfect in all their art that they do, and I think that not every artist is. I still post even the things that I feel like weren't the best pieces, because we're still human beings. I'm not perfect in my art, and I feel like I do make mistakes, and yes, there's so much more I can learn even in anatomy, and I understand like there's things that I can work on, but I feel like as an artist, like I'm not AI, and I'm still a human aspect. So I feel like we push this perfection as artists onto other artists, or the artist community is very perfectionist, I feel like, in so many ways, and I just gotta say that I'm not a huge fan of that. I really think that we want that human experience. We live in such a fake world. We live in this world of just, I don't know, it's just fake internet world, and it's not really real, but yet we don't like the edges that are not perfect, or that they kind of are blotchy, and art's like that sometimes. I think it's good to know that sometimes we make really good pieces, but there's also pieces that we make that aren't as good, or that we don't like, and that's okay. And yes, we could always work and strive to work better. I could have made this piece better. I saw the mistakes after I completed it, but I do have to say that once I see these mistakes, I can correct them for the future, and then I'm going to make other mistakes and I'll correct those in the future. And there's some art pieces that I have just made fast, and it was just for the sake of trying to complete a deadline. And that's another thing, is like sometimes like taking your time is just better too, and you'll feel better after you do. And I should have taken more time with this piece. I just was trying to complete it in a timely manner, and sometimes when I'm trying to push myself to be more artistic, when I'm not feeling as artistic, it can also be at the detriment of the piece. And so yes, there's things I really love about this piece. Like I love the wings, I love the potion, I love like her hair, how it turned out, but there's things that I don't like as much about the piece. like her pose and the snake, and I wish I could change that, but I'm still glad that I finished it, and I'm still glad that this piece turned out the way that it did. So don't feel bad if you make something and you're not 100% happy with it, because you can change it in the future and you'll get better, and things will over time just look better and get better. And what I'm trying to say is, don't let that get you down, and being imperfect is okay. I mean, like I said, I'm not a computer, I'm not a robot, so I'm just here to show you my pieces, and I'm here to show you what I love and what I love about my art. And also I will talk about imperfections, but overall I'm so happy with my art and I love it. So I hope you guys enjoy my videos. This is more of kind of like a blog of things that I like to draw, and drawing with me. I want to do more in person. Basically, I want to do more real-time color and draw videos with you guys, but I want to get a little bit faster first, and then I want to work on some of the technical things with it, like basically recording sound and the iPad stuff together. I was doing it with my drawing Huion, but I kind of want to do it with my iPad, and I just need to sit down with it and figure it out. But you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you for watching my videos.